Oh, yes, it is. Anthony Rivera's Subway to Shea podcast. Keith Diaz from Shea and Sons. It's a Subway to Shea and Sons collaboration. WBC TV, episode 2. We had such a good time doing the first one that we thought, let's bring it back again. Thanks again to Sean Spradling for joining us to preview the entire WBC as a whole. And today, we're breaking down Pool A. Keith, man, how you doing, my friend?
I'm good, my brother. I'm so happy to be back with you, man. This is a project that we're very, very, very passionate about. And not only are we very passionate about this project, we're very passionate about Pool A, and we're gonna explain why in due time. But yeah, man, I'm happy to be here. Let's do it.
Let's do it, and let's bring on our guest right now. This guy has been on the Subway to Shea podcast recently. Actually, when me and Santos linked up, we were breaking down the signing of Freddie Peralta. That broke as on air while we were on air. So actually, we both have done this. We did Juan Soto. You and me, Keith, did Juan Soto.
Yeah.
I've done this with Freddie Peralta with Santos. Santos, my friend, it's so great to have you back. The baseball aficionado.
Hell yeah.
Follow him on all his social platforms where all Latino baseball lives at the BB Aficionado. My friend, it's so good to have you back on again.
It's great to be back, man. Thank you guys for having me. Looking forward to this, man. That we're getting closer to that classic. I can't wait. I always enjoy watching it. We complain about certain little details, which I guess maybe we'll touch on it. But at the end of the day, we're gonna be locked in. So.
Yeah, as me and Keith said, it's basically just playoffs in March. That's what it feels like.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it definitely feels like that for the players involved. And it's awesome to break all of this down with you guys. And first, before we get into that, I know you and me, Keith, had discussed really basically the whole entirety of what this tournament is and, how it's set up. As you see, Pool A and Pool B will be on one side of the bracket, meet in the quarterfinals, as well as Pool C and Pool D on the other side. There's a little bit of confusion with how the semifinals would take place, especially with the way it looks here. It looks like, A and B and C and D would meet, but that's not actually how it's going.
No, so we're pretty much gonna get a traditional, higher seed, lower seed, so you could kind of like level out the playing field, so that we get the best possible final, pretty much kind of how we had it last tournament. So I think it's pretty much, I guess the reason why they put TBD is because I think they expect everyone to assume how the 2023 format is just carrying over to 2026, which is fine by me. I actually think it's perfectly fine the way it is. Probably exactly how a tournament should be done as you move on towards the semifinals, et cetera, et cetera. So we are carrying over 2023 vibes. Now, there are some rules that maybe some folks may not be aware of. I'm going to just jump into that very quickly. There is pitcher usage. So many people are worried about pitchers, throwing in this tournament. Well, calm down. There isn't pitchers are like, I'm over here nervous. Pitchers aren't going to be going like 8 innings or anything like that. All right. Pitchers are limited by pitch counts per game, 65 pitches in pool play, 80 in quarterfinals, 95 in the championship round, with exceptions to finish a batter. Okay, so you're gonna have to guide your pitchers as you continue. So which is a good look. You're not overthrowing. These are high leverage games, though. These aren't like spring training games, but you're not blowing out someone's arm too much. Yeah. There is a mercy rule. Games end early if a team is up by 10 or more runs in the 7th inning or later, or 15 or more runs in the 15th inning or later. Pool play only, though. It's only in pool play. Extra innings, a runner starts at second base for extra innings. We're used to that as we watch that in Major League Baseball. Replay review, each team receives 1 challenge per game in pool play and quarterfinals, and 2 in the championship rounds. There's no pitch clock currently like Major League Baseball. The 2023 WBC did not use a pitch clock. There will not be a pitch clock in this year's tournament. Player eligibility, we can go into a whole deep dive of that because we obviously know what's going on with that. We'll touch on that in a moment. And that's pretty much it. I don't know if they're going to use ABS. That's the only thing. I'm not sure if they're going to be using the ABS technology. That would actually be a really nice touch. But with that being said, that's the tournament. We're like 3 weeks away.
Yeah, three weeks away from the tournament. So each week we are going to break down a pool with you. Pool A will be as is right now. We're going to do Pool B next week, and then Pool C and D will drop the week that the tournament starts, which I think starts on a Thursday. So we will get that March whole thing situated and going there. So let's get into Pool A, break it all down, break down the rosters, give our X factors into this. Obviously, there'll be some players that are on some of our teams that we like. We'll talk about that. We'll look at the schedule, some possible upsets as well, and predictions and chances of these teams actually pulling through and getting to the quarterfinal rounds. And let me pull up the page for us as we have the rosters here. And let's start off with Team Canada. We'll work our way in order here. We'll start off with Team Canada. Check out the rosters here. And, all right, here we go. Here is the roster. Finally, there we got Michael Soroka, James Paxton, Jameson Tyone, Cal Quantrill. Those are some of the guys that I know. It's a lot of these guys I'm not too familiar with. But you guys let me know pitching wise your thoughts on this Canadian team's pitching.
Not bad. Some solid
Not
names
bad
there.
at all. No.
Yeah, some solid names there with major league experience. I think this is a lot better than what people would assume actually for Canada.
Well, the funny thing that one of the things that stands out to me is seeing Felipe Almont there. He was a guy who many years ago was a top prospect, was a guy who kind of battled injuries, never really lived up to what he was supposed to be, was a big time prospect, had a big time arm. And it's interesting. He's been on several World Baseball Classics already, and he's on this roster again. So I just find that very interesting that he's there.
Yeah, I think he was a Blue Jay, right? I believe he was a Blue Jay at one point.
Yeah, he was. He bounced around a little bit, had a live arm. Guy was like a big time pitcher for some years. He was drafted by the Mariners, but was a big time arm. No, he wasn't a Blue Jay.
Oh,
Phillies.
Phillies. Okay.
Although they
So I'm
have
like
him in a Blue Jay stat here. They do have him in a Blue Jay stat here, but he only played up until 2015 in the major leagues.
It must have been a spring training invite or something.
Yeah, he's probably non-roster invite, something like that. Yep.
Yeah, but look at the last time he played. So
yeah, it's crazy. Last time played 2015. Not the best last two seasons for him with the ERA, but very interesting nonetheless. And you know these there's going to be a lot of players on here like Felipe that don't play in the league anymore.
Right.
Either in minor leagues or in the independent leagues. I mean, there's some players in Chechnya. I think I saw a tweet earlier today where they have regular jobs, so they're not playing baseball full time.
I think one of the interesting things about Canada is that they're going to have, just like I think the theme in this pool is going to be in this group is a lot of parity. I think that this is going to be the group where it's like you can split it in many different ways. I like some of the pitchers like a Logan Allen, obviously, James Paxton with the experience. I like some of the, I don't know what Philip Almont has left. He used to be decent. I don't know how good he is anymore, so I can't comment on him. But it's going to be a very Jameson Tyone. There are guys here who we know who still have something left. I need to see where they're going to get the runs from. That's where I'm a little concerned. I think the pitching may hold up depending on the team they're playing. But the runs, obviously you have a Bo Naylor. We know what he is. Otto Lopez can handle the bat a little bit, more of a defensive player, speed guy. Abraham Toro, a guy who can handle the bat a little bit. Josh Naylor, obviously. These guys, Julian can handle the bat a little bit. These guys, they don't have a lot of thumpers, to put it that way. So it'll be interesting to see how they were able to piece together this offense. They're not a big offensive team, but their arms may keep them in these games. I think that they should be one of the favorites to get one of the 2 spots, at least to me.
Yeah,
I enjoy some of their offensive players, to be quite honest. Like Owen Casey, he's one of the better prospects in baseball right now. He just got traded to the Marlins in that big trade for Edward Cabrera. So we get to see him before he's a Marlin, which is really, really awesome. We actually have a Met player there, Jared Young. We've seen Jared Young in spurts. You know, he has a little bit of pop. Denzel Clark, really, really exciting prospect. Super, super fast, super athletic, fun defender. Tyler O'Neill, I think this is actually a really important tournament for him because he's had a real rough time staying healthy. And I think for Baltimore, they kind of want to see what's going on with Tyler O'Neill. So that's a big part. If he can provide some thump there, because you're right, they do need, like, he has to be one of those guys. Josh Naylor is an all-star. He's probably their best all-around player. Edouard Julien should have been a lot better in the major leagues. Not sure what happened with him. He's with the Minnesota Twins. Tyler Black, okay prospect with the Brewers, but Otto Lopez, I guess he could help be a little bit of a table setter. But I think if Tyler O'Neill can provide what we expect Josh Naylor would provide, then maybe they're in a little bit of business, in my opinion.
Yeah, like you said, Tyler O'Neill got to stay healthy. We talked about Jared Young on our podcast for so long already, with him being a Met, and probably will have more of an opportunity to play here than he will be on the New York Mets. But as you said, I think the offense runs through most definitely Josh Naylor. He's going to bring the power to it. We know his brother and what he provides behind the plate. Otto Lopez, man, he's been a Met killer, right? He's a guy that we know that can hit the Mets.
Good baseball player, very good baseball player.
Yeah. So these guys, I think that for Team Canada, which is a team that's looking to take the next step in this tournament, I think they're in a good spot. I think a couple of these teams are in a good spot, especially with the fact that what has been going on with Team Puerto Rico and the roster construction and the struggles to get some of these guys insurance. This sets up pretty well for a team like Canada to be one of those teams that comes out of Pool A and makes it to the quarterfinals.
This is also without Freddie Freeman, by the way. You know, they also are missing a very, very their own superstar in Freddie Freeman. So not a bad team.
Absolutely. And their coaching staff led by Ernie Witt. We know Justin Morneau, legendary Minnesota Twin player, Paul Quantrill, obviously his son is in the pitching staff. Russell Martin, one of the more legendary catchers in baseball.
Really good player.
Really good. And who can forget Stubby Clapp?
Stubby Clapp.
Oh my gosh.
I didn't even know he was there.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
That's right, baby. Stubby Clapp.
And him just body slamming Pete Alonso. But that's Team Canada for us here. So I feel like I have to undo this sharing and then come back to it once I get the next team up here, which will be Colombia. And, just closing out on your final thoughts with the way Team Canada is represented right now.
I think they have a good chance to come out of the bracket. I think the bracket is going to come down to, it's so crazy because you could make the argument for any of these teams, given the construction right now. Obviously, because of what happened with Puerto Rico not getting the insurances for their three big stars, right? Obviously, Javi, we know the situation is a little different, but right, that changed everything. But I think Canada's in that mix for one of the top two seeds. More than likely, they will probably be able to advance. I think it's going to come down to the Latin American nations that are going to kind of battle for that other spot. So,
yeah, I think if they had Freddie, they'd probably be the favorite. I think to Santos's point, the parity is really at an all-time high, and I think that's going to be the common theme for probably this breakdown, because as we probably go through these other teams and their rosters, we're probably going to see a common theme. Good, but not really, you know. Yep. And even with all the people we're missing on our team for Puerto Rico, we probably could still say we're the favorite, right? So we'll see how this unfolds.
Puerto Rico has, and I've made this argument, and I think I'll be proven right. this will be the best pitching Puerto Rico's ever
Correct.
taken to the World
Yeah,
Baseball Classic.
Absolutely.
absolutely.
And
it
I
gets
mean, and
even
I'm
better.
not being a homer. I'm being
No, you're
No.
not.
We'll see.
No,
It actually could have been our best team all around. If we had everybody, it could have been
Yeah.
incredible. Honestly, it could have been
Yeah,
incredible.
they screwed us.
yeah.
I'm sorry. I
We'll
guess
go-
I'm still mad about that. But
No,
yeah, we'll have time
You
for
should
that.
be. We all should be. We'll get into Team Puerto Rico. We'll air our grievances with the WBC
All right.
in just a few moments. Here's the roster for Colombia. Now, we do have a few Mets in here, and Jose Quintana and Julio Teheran. Actually, Jose Quintana will start Game 1 against Seth Lugo when Puerto Rico and Colombia meet for the first game their first games of the WBC. And this is a big spot for Jose Quintana to set the tone. I mean, us as Met fans, we've seen Jose Quintana in big games, also in the playoffs. So if he sets the tone for Colombia and they somehow beat Puerto Rico, that changes the whole outlook of that first round and of that pool.
100%. Colombia, this team is, and I'll be honest with you, out of all the teams in this bracket, this is the team that scares me the most. And I'm not kidding. And it's gonna sound crazy. Colombia is getting better. Their baseball has improved a lot. I know some of the names are not like, whatever, but there's a lot of youth on this team, and they have veteran arms, which, like you mentioned, like a Jose Quintana. They're sneaky good. And if you follow them, they played in a Caribbean series. They won a Caribbean series some years back. They play for the qualifier for the WBC. They went on this crazy tear. They were really good in that qualifier. They were a live dog, and they killed it to qualify for the WBC. They're a live underdog. Like, they're legit. Like, they are a dangerous underdog for this tournament, for this group.
I'm going through the roster right now, and there's so many names that, like, I feel like I'm like, oh my God, I forgot all about him. Like, I'm looking at Jorge Alfaro, Elias Diaz, who was actually an All-Star Game MVP, like, in Major League Baseball. Gio Urshela, man. I mean, Donovan Solano, solid glove, solid all-around player. Harold Ramirez, we've seen a little bit of him. Hey man, look, I wouldn't bet against anyone in this pool, mainly for the fact of what we heard about what's going on with Team Puerto Rico, because there's blood in the water for any of these teams to like try and really get into the next round. So this looks like a solid. They have enough major league pedigree, I think, especially with Quintana leading the rotation, that they can make some noise. And plus, listen, Colombia, I think Colombia brings a vibe too. Like, I follow them, in the World Cup and everything like that. This is not a quiet enemy. No, they're very loud. No. They have vibes. They're fun. They're going to make it a really, really interesting time. I really agree with you, Santos.
Yeah, look at Harold Ramirez is a pro. Solano's a pro. Michael Arroyo's a pretty decent young player, young-ish player. Reynaldo Rodriguez, like Elias Diaz is a pro. Alfaro it's a dangerous slugger. In this format, he's not playing in MLB, but not everybody in this stage, not everybody's an MLB guy. He can hit this pitching, for the most part. So there's going to be they're a live dog, honestly.
Yeah, they could be sneaky good, and they could be one of the teams that upsets and gets that final spot to get to the quarterfinals. I do kind of like their balance when it comes to the lineup, and like you said, Santos, the veteran presence you get from Jorge Alfaro and Elias Diaz, Gio Urshela, and Donovan Solano, as well as Harold Ramirez. This could be huge for them. And like I said, to me, for this team to have any hope, it starts with that first game. You take away Puerto Rico is already, I don't want to say in shambles, but the mentality right now for the team Puerto Rico, they're very upset and angry about.
They have to win that game. No, Puerto Rico has to win that game. Forget about You know what I mean? Like whatever happens after that happens, but they gotta get that game out the way. They
Yeah.
cannot lose that first game. If that'll set a terrible tone for the rest of the group.
Yeah, and we were talking about, like the X factors for teams. To me, Jose Quintana. I'll keep
Mhm.
iterating that. Game one, Jose Quintana. We've seen him in the past in big time games. The guy knows how to pitch. He's a veteran. And you step it up when you play for your country. So this is a big time game for him. And if they somehow steal the first game, like I said, it really changes the dynamic of that pool.
Absolutely.
I it's funny, we're Puerto Ricans and we all know because we follow the Mets and we're like we all know what happens when you give Quintana the ball in a big game. Like we all know, and we're like, ay, Dios mío, I
Yeah,
got
yeah, he's a lefty.
you know.
He's a lefty.
Yeah,
He's a
crafty
lefty.
pitcher,
You
very
know,
crafty.
yeah. He's listen. That's gonna be a tough spot, man. I'm telling you, that's a tough spot. Now, Puerto Rico on the other side will have Seth Lugo, so that's not a picnic, but it's been confirmed he's gonna pitch the first game. So, we'll see.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Good first match with two solid
Yeah,
pitchers.
yeah,
to open the
absolutely.
round.
You throw your best. You got to win a game first
Yeah,
to start.
absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
so I've heard some fans right in other pools. They say, "Oh, we're gonna save this pitcher for that, or this pitcher for that." No. You got to
no
get
guarantees. There's no
no
guarantees.
throw your best right away.
Yeah,
You know?
I
Absolutely,
agree.
especially in this round where you really need to get yourself going. Like you said, the parity for Pool A. I mean, I've already seen some people talk like they feel like every team can go 2-2.
Yeah, 100%.
So
Yep.
I think you even mentioned
We
It's
had
crazy.
that. Yeah, we had that in the
Crazy.
last. See, we had
Yeah.
a whole pool go 2-2, so it's very possible. Very, very possible.
We're gonna head to Cuba and look at their team. Cuba has really not been the same in a while, and their roster. Honestly, I don't know too much about their roster and who they're bringing up. Santos, you're a little bit better
Yeah.
equipped to explain, at least to me,
Yeah.
the way Team Cuba is all set up.
So Livan Moinelo is one of their better pitchers overseas. That guy's a stud.
In Japan,
And
right? He's
in
pitches
Japan,
in Japan. Yeah,
yeah,
he's very
yeah,
good. Yeah.
Japan, stud. He would be in the major leagues, no doubt about it. Obviously, he's not, but he's one of those guys. Josimar Coulson is a guy who's a live arm. Rydell Martinez is another one, live arm. They have some arms, that can really beat you, especially out of that bullpen. Yariel Rodriguez is a guy who is major leaguer. Obviously, we know he's a guy who's probably going to be in the later innings. I think the key for Cuba is, and this is a question, and we don't know, where the heck are they going to get their runs from? Because this is about as weak of an offense I've ever seen a Cuban team have. Their arms are going to keep them in it. I don't love their starting pitching as much, outside of Moinelo, and I don't love their hitting as much. Obviously, you see Yiri Cape has got a lot of power, but he's a lot of swing and miss. Alexander Vargas is a guy who, and we're gonna get to Alexei Ramirez in a second.
I was waiting for that.
Alexander Vargas is a guy who's more of like a glove first guy, not a threat offensively, but definitely can beat you on the base paths. Alexei Ramirez, at 44 years old, a couple years ago decided to go back to Cuba. He's playing in La Serie Nacional, which is the Cuban professional league out there. Why anybody would go back after being here, I don't know. I didn't go that deep into it. But yeah, this guy was hitting bombs in Cuba. But mind you, in Cuba, playing in Cuba in the professional league, those guys don't throw above 80. So keep that in mind. Cuba's better pitchers are all in either Japan or in other leagues. So
Yeah, I mean, it sucks because we all know, what goes on with situations with Cuba. There's so many Cuban players that are in Major League Baseball that they cannot play for the Cuban national team for many reasons. We don't want to get into that right now, but you think about like Arandia Rosarena has changed his nationality to Mexican,
yes.
Think of a Jordan Alvarez,
oh yeah.
There's players that can severely assist this team. But it's unfortunate, this is just how the world is. But, such a very rich history of baseball players that come from Cuba.
Yeah, this is not representative at all of the talent that
Absolutely.
they would have. Not at all. I mean,
Absolutely.
they're missing Adolis Garcia. They're missing, like you mentioned, Alvarez. What is it? I'm sorry. I'm drawing a blank. Raisel Iglesias. Aroldis Chapman.
Yep.
I mean, Arosa Arena. They're missing everybody. Luis Robert Jr.
If they had their full complement, they would be the favorite.
That would be a favorite. Yeah. They would be in the top 4 at least. They got and they got arms too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you name all those people, and if they're on that roster, they are, like you said, they are the favorites to win it all. I mean, Alexei Ramirez at his age right now, I don't think
for the love of the game, man.
Yeah. Well, also they needed more bodies, I guess, too, because I mean,
Santos says looks like it's going to struggle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't love, and this is not just my opinion, but I've spoken with a lot of Cubans. I'm tapped in with a lot of Cubans. My mentor is Cuban, so my mentor in this whole thing before I started this. So, shout out to Joseph Diaz. He's the man. He's helped me a lot. He's tapped me and he's like, he doesn't like this team. He said that this is potentially the worst Cuban team they've ever had.
Wow.
That's sad to hear.
I kind of go,
so sad.
Yeah. It is for sure.
All right, let's head
I don't love them. I don't love them advancing. And my prediction is they probably won't, but you never know. I don't love this team, to be honest with you.
Let's hope Puerto Rico gets the win off them because we don't want to lose to those guys.
No.
You think that they get a win, at least one win in this round?
Yeah, I think they'll win. They'll win a game or so. They'll win a game. Yeah, they'll win. They better not lose every game. That would be really bad. They're gonna play for pride. I just think baseball is baseball. I think all these teams will probably get a win at some. I don't think none of these teams are gonna be winless. I don't think so. I think everybody will win at least one game.
Well, people think that most of this bracket's gonna finish 2-2. So we'll definitely see how it pans out, and maybe it does go a different way. But let's look at Team Panama here. Adding them to the board. I'm not too familiar with most of their starting pitching and their bullpen outside of maybe Paulo Espino.
Got Logan Allen, man, repping Panama. Look at that.
Logan Allen. What are you guys' thoughts on the pitching that Panama is bringing to the table here?
I'm with you.
I don't love their pitch.
Yeah.
I don't love their pitching, man. I think between them and Cuba, they're going to be fighting for the worst team in this bracket. I feel like Colombia's leapfrogged them. I really feel that way. And you can see the talent is just not, they haven't produced top level talent in quite some, they still have the Christian Benton core. I think Ivan Herrera's not going to go. I think he's going to be out.
I heard about that. Is that something to do with insurance as well? Because I mean that's my first thought now when people not going to the tournament with the insurance going on.
I gotta double check. I think it's an injury.
Okay,
but he's always hurt.
Gotcha.
So Benson Court is a pro. Miguel Amaya is a pro, definitely.
Jonathan Aruiz.
My God,
Aruiz, yeah. Wait. Okay, we have to pay tribute to the great Ruben Tejada.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, come on. How this tells you all you need to know that this guy made a team. I've seen him play winter ball in Puerto Rico.
Isn't he a monster? Yeah, he's a monster for like in winter ball and for Panama. Like I remember seeing him just all of a sudden he tapped into his power. He started
hitting
bombs and stuff. Yeah.
Big Ruben.
He
still looks young too. He still looks young.
Good for him.
Still looks young.
Jonathan Aruz. Oh, I never thought I'd hear that name again. Oh my God, I didn't even know he was on the team.
Yeah, he's back. He's ready.
They got some good ball players.
Johan Camar. Yeah, they have some.
The infield is there.
The infield's there. The outfield, I don't know what they're doing with that outfield. Infield should be okay. I don't like the pitching and I don't like the outfield. There will be one of the worst teams. Okay, I'm gonna put this. They finished with the worst record in the pool. That's gonna be my.
Wow. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's looking like a tough roster here, especially in the outfield. I like the infield, but that outfield. Well, Keith, wasn't it? Bradfield Jr. was the one last episode. You were like, how you couldn't believe he was from Panama.
No, it was a Mexican play, Taj Bradley, but I didn't even know Bradfield Jr. was from Panama. Even Logan Allen. I'm like, oh my God. Since
They're
when
like,
was
oh, we
Logan
need
Allen?
pitching. We'll throw
Yeah.
an American white guy in there.
Yeah, you got 10% Panamanian. Come on down. We
on.
need you.
Yeah, this is definitely one of the tougher rosters to predict here. Like I said, outside of Logan Allen, Paulo Espino, it's really hard to figure out, where their solid pitching is going to come from when a lot of these other teams, you mentioned Cuba has a legit ace on their staff. The Puerto Rico probably has the best rotation. Then you look at Colombia with Jose Quintana leading the charge, and the way Canada's set up and their major leaguers. This is a tough go for Panama right now. Absolutely tough. All right, we're gonna wrap up with going to Puerto Rico here, and I'm gonna bring them up in their roster. Now it's missing some stars, right? We're not gonna have Javi Baez due to. Hold on one second. That's still Cuba. We're not gonna have Javi Baez due to such a weird rule. Yeah, such a weird rule to have that be set up for him, and then the injuries to Carlos Correa, as well as Francisco Lindor. It seems like he wasn't going to end up playing anyway with the hand injury.
I was going to say, yeah, he wasn't going to play.
So at the very least, we were going to lose him. But this pitching is stacked, fellas. I mean,
yeah.
Just look at some of Fernando Cruz. Jose De Leon was the one who was pitching against, was it
Israel?
Having like
perfect
a perfect
game.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, Yaxel Rios, Eduardo Rivera, as well. Elmer Rodriguez, a top prospect from the Yankees. He might be in the Yankee staff this season.
Probably the most excited arm, in my opinion, to watch is going to be Elmer Rodriguez for me.
Yep.
I agree. This is the best. And look, these are not names that people are like, oh my God. But the thing is, like, if you know, you know. Like in a short tournament like this, Yaxel Rios throws gas.
Yeah.
If you remember him last World Baseball Classic, he's had issues staying healthy. That's always been his issue. And actually, he was a former Met as well.
Correct.
Didn't get to play, but didn't get to play in games. But Raymond Burgos, very good, crafty lefty. He's a young guy. Jorge Lopez, crazy, right?
Yeah.
Former Met.
But you need that.
He's a goon.
You need that. You need to play like that.
Right. Jose Espada is nasty. This guy was with the Padres organization. Rico Garcia throws very well.
Yep.
Eduardo Rivera, 22-year-old from the Red Sox organization, played winter ball, played in the Caribbean Series. He's warmed up and ready to go. Lefty.
He's 6'7". Holy shit. 6'7".
Yeah, how many
wow.
Puerto Rican?
I'm shocked. Yeah, I'm looking at this like I can't believe I didn't. Wow, there's a big
said
kid.
it. Yeah,
Sheesh.
big guy, big lefty. Him and Elmer are two young guys. And Luis Quiñones is a very good youngish arm. Ricardo Vélez. I mean, these guys are, and obviously we know Seth, right?
Mhm.
And Edwin Diaz. These are very
Fernando
good
Cruz,
arms.
too, yeah.
Fernando Cruz is nasty.
Mhm.
Nasty. So this is the best pitching I've seen Puerto Rico take probably ever. And we'll see if it could bear fruit.
Yeah, Seth Lugo will be leading the charge, like you mentioned earlier. He will go against Jose Quintana in Game 1. Edwin Diaz, because he's not on the Mets anymore, probably going to be healthy throughout this entire tournament. Nothing's going to happen.
Of course.
I hope he stays
Knock
healthy.
on wood.
But,
Knock on wood.
I hope he stays healthy. But having him close out games is going to be huge for him.
He can get hurt in October. That's okay. But just get through this.
I agree with that.
I think that.
I want him to put up numbers too, so he can be good. And then in October, goodbye.
100%.
I think that this is going to be a huge tournament for him. Just to his injury in the last tournament really kind of broke the sails of Team Puerto Rico, and I'm pretty sure broke the sails for himself as well. I'm pretty sure he's hyped and looking to bounce back from that. Now, a couple, I don't know what his brother's status is. I know he's not on this right now, but I don't know if I know that Jose Barrios, if they get through the pool rounds, is eligible to come in and be, and that adds another huge arm to the rotation.
His brother is on that list as well, the reserves. So if should they decide they want to add him as well with Barrios, they can also add him.
You know what, guys? I'm gonna be honest with you. You know what's so beautiful about this pitching is that I don't see Marcus Stroman.
Right.
I love it. Makes me happy. Makes me very happy.
Too.
No shot at Marcus Stroman, but that just didn't feel right. But anyways, this feels right. This feels
so
right.
Do you know why he's not here, right?
You know what? I don't actually. Why?
So I'll explain it to you real quick. So Marcus Stroman had a deal to pitch. He had an agreement to pitch winter ball with Los Indios de Mayagüez, right? The Puerto Rico Winter League. He declined. He said he was going to go. Then he said no. Carlos Beltran said, "Hey, I'd love to have you with Team Puerto Rico. Get warmed up in winter. You haven't pitched in the major leagues in a while. Your arm would. I want you to get your arm going."
Right.
He didn't listen. Didn't do it. Begged and pleaded to be on Team Puerto Rico. Beltran said, "I can't do that. You're not going to be ready because you didn't do winter ball, and you were." Remember, he got cut. When did he get released?
Middle of
the
the
summer.
Of the season,
summer,
right?
yeah.
That's too much inactivity. So
Right.
that was what Beltran said. So that's how it happened.
Sounds like Marcus Stroman. Sounds about right.
Stroman being Stroman, and he is kind of a legend of the WBC. If you think about it, for Team USA. I mean,
USA,
correct. I was gonna say that. Yeah.
He helped them win. He threw what 5 or 6 shutout innings against Team Puerto Rico, or perfect innings.
He's never pitched like that in his whole life.
No.
Ever.
Nope.
He's never. Of course, he does it in that
Yep.
spot.
Uh-huh.
I swear to God, I'm like, who is this guy? I remember when I saw it in real time. I said, they can't touch this guy.
Yeah.
Can't touch him. And it's convenient that it worked out that way.
Let's look at the rest of the roster here for Team Puerto Rico as their catchers: Martin Maldonado, Christian Vasquez. I like the catching corp there, and I think Maldonado is going to be the captain with Lindor out. Is that?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah,
That's
definitely.
correct?
It's his last go around. And I think it's deserved. You know, he's had a good career. One of the better defensive catchers. He's not a star, but he's certainly one of those guys you can respect. And former Gold Glove winner. He's had a nice little career as a backup, especially in the majors and in winter ball. So nice to see that.
We let Marcus Stroman go as he was a part of Team USA and added someone else from Team USA, and Nolan Arenado, Edwin Arroyo also in there, Manuel Rivera, Luis Vasquez, Darrell Hernandez for the infielders of this team. And then you look at the outfielders: Willie Castro, Carlos Cortez, Matthew Lugo, MJ Melendez, the new New York Met, Heliot Ramos, Eddie Rosario, Brian Torres. Guys, what are your thoughts on the rest of this roster filling out here? Are we going to score some runs or not?
We have hitters here. There's no doubt. Obviously Correa would have been a huge boost, right?
Yeah,
It would have been huge. He would have been the main cog because obviously Lindor wasn't going to play. You got to see if we could get a tick out of Nolan Arenado. Personally, that's where my eyes are glued on to see. Because we all know he played for Team USA. Now he's with Team Puerto Rico. This is what you do with us, Heliot Ramos, man. Listen, not a great defender by any means, but he can hit a ball really, really far.
He's got a lot of power. Willie Castro, nice scrappy switch hitter, and this is a great opportunity for MJ Melendez to start off the season very hot. Great opportunity. See, here's the thing. I look at it like this, right? This is team. I like Rivera. Rivera's a pro. He's not a star. He plays every year in Puerto Rico winter ball. Exceptional glove, timely hitter.
Yeah.
Doesn't strike out. That you need that. This is a different kind of Puerto Rico offense. This team is not going to bludgeon you. Correct. But you have a couple players, and there's some young players. I like some of the youth. And here are a couple players I have my eye on, right? Edwin Arroyo. This is his time now to show everybody. This guy was a second-round pick. This guy was a top prospect in the Reds organization, broke his shoulder, missed the whole year in 2024. This guy is not a scrub. He played winter ball for about a month and a half. So he's warmed up. He's ready to go. 22-year-old switch hitting shortstop, power, speed, glove guy, switch hitter. This guy can do it all. This is his time. Let's see if he can take that job. I want to see him start. If I were Team Puerto Rico, Yachty, put this kid in there. Let him play. Darryl Hernandez is another guy. Young guy. It's his time. What can you do? Arenado, you got a chip on your shoulder. They say you're washed, right? Show them you're not washed. And another one, I'm sorry, one last one that I want to mention. Brian Torres. Brian Torres is a very 27-year-old guy. Look at his numbers in AAA last year. Guy who's very fast, high contact, good defender, a scrappy player. Would not be surprised if he got a lot of playing time.
Love it. I think even to this day, even after the injury, Edwin Arroyo is still a top 10 prospect in the Reds organization.
Yeah, he's very high. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They say that. So this is even with Ellie there. Obviously, Ellie's a different kind of player, established and everything, but they view Arroyo as the better shortstop than Ellie. Like shortstop, not player, but as a shortstop, they view him as a guy who, could stick there. So do not be surprised if he develops, if they move Ellie to another position. That would not shock me at all. People that hear this now will think I'm crazy, but when I'm proven right a year from now, just
well, there was chatter. I remember hearing that they were considering having Ellie go into the outfield because of his arm strength. And I know they have third base filled, but he's such a tall player. For the shortstop position, he's very, very tall. That I don't think you're crazy by any stretch of the imagination. I think also, too, with Ellie at some point having to get his contract done, I wouldn't be shocked at all if that eventually is his future. Wouldn't be shocked at all. Now, my question, though, because I know Nolan Arenado is going to be playing first base for the Diamondbacks. He's going to be stuck at third base for us. Is that correct?
From what I understand, I think he's going to play third. I think Rivera's going to, because Rivera can play first as well.
Right.
So I think now that's the better bet. Have Rivera play first and have Arenado play his natural position. I'm curious to see the configuration of the starting outfield because it's going to be interesting to see. Like, I'll be honest with you, I wasn't thrilled to see Eddie Rosario on this roster, to be honest with you, because but I saw him. I follow a lot of winter ball. Like, I watched him. Like, he kind of looks like he's washed already, but
see, this is, I agree. Yeah. I'm so with you. This is why I was hoping we were going to get like Riley Green with us because I was hoping Riley Green, because, I was hoping Riley Green, George Springer somehow, right? The miracle team.
Yeah.
That's what I was hoping for. Riley Green, George Springer, and then we'll figure it out. Maybe, and I just guessed like we'll throw Helio Ramos, whatever left, or MJ Melendez, whatever. And then eventually the Lindor, the Correa, yada, yada, yada. The team looked like 2-3 months ago. I'm like, yo, Puerto Rico can make a run. I'm like, I'm so excited. Right. This is amazing. And then we're like,
the pitching is nice.
Yeah, the pitching is still good. But, we got to figure out how we're going to score some runs. But
this is going to be a different kind of team. This is not going to be the typical, like we're used to seeing, bludgeoning teams. We're not doing that this time. We got to, let me speak like a, neutral. They're not going to bludgeon teams. This Puerto Rico team is going to find, they got some speed and they got some contact guys. So I think that'll help. Keep your eye out for Carlos Cortez. He's a guy who's pretty decent as well. Late bloomer, sneaky good bat. Look at his numbers last year with the A's. He's a guy who could get some DH time.
Love it.
Yeah, this team has some power, but they're going to have to scrap through some runs. And if the pitching can hold up, they can get through into Pool B. Man, I really would like, I'm not just saying this because he's on our team, but MJ Melendez, and I said this on my podcast, this guy was a highly touted prospect in the Royals organization. We're talking about top catching prospect. That I don't know if because the fact that Salvador Perez was a staple there and wasn't going to be moved, and then they had to move him to the outfield, I don't know if that had any effect on his psyche or whatever. But if MJ Melendez could come through and be a big factor here, I think we know he's got 20 home run power. We know he's got the talent. If he could be a big part of this offense, that would go a long way, along with Arenado. And you said, Arroyo, Rivera, and Ramos as well. So, look, another big factor for this team is the experience they have in the coaching staff. I mean,
great
look at
coaching
this.
staff.
Oh my God, look at that talent.
Look at that. Alex.
I'll take them on the field, right?
Put them up there.
Put them on, right?
Yeah. Juan, that doesn't look like Juan Gonzalez, or is that a different Juan Gonzalez? Because that does not look like Juan Gonzalez to me.
No, they made a mistake. They put the Timu Juan Gonzalez there.
But Edgar Martinez, hitting legend. I mean, to get those guys to get going. Jose Rosado, he's in the Mets bullpen. I think he is. Sandy Alomar Jr., Joey Cora. I mean, you could not have asked for a better coaching staff to lead this team. And the hopes is that, well, at least for us, because we're fans of Team Puerto Rico, that they come through. So we'll definitely see how it all ranks up for Team Puerto Rico and how they get going. But let's wrap up the show with giving our Pool A predictions and who we think is coming out of Pool A. I know me and Keith talked about it a little bit, but we'll start off with you, Santos. Keith, you'll go next, and then I'll wrap it up.
No pressure, right? I'm telling you. So I think it's gonna be really, really like a lot of parity, and I'm trying my best. Like, okay, if you would ask me this question 2 weeks ago, I'm like, Puerto Rico's not going. I was beyond depressed. Like, I was like, Puerto Rico's not gonna win more than one game. They're gonna get eliminated from the first round for the first time in history. Blah blah. I was like, irrational, and then I was able to bring myself back. I dove into some numbers, compared everybody. Puerto Rico has the best pitching in the pool. And I don't even think it's debatable. Puerto Rico has I'm talking about top to bottom, the best arms, power arms, finesse arms, everything. And with that, as long as you do that in the stadium in San Juan, the Irán Bithorn Stadium, which is huge, you're going to have a chance. And for that reason, I say Puerto Rico will get one of the two spots. It will be, I got Puerto Rico and Colombia passing, going through the first round.
I'm rolling with Puerto Rico because they better. That's how I'm looking at it. They better. That's how I know there's parity, but I just get out the group. And then whatever happens.
Icing on the cake, bro.
Yeah,
icing on the cake.
Yo estoy tranquilo con la mental. I'll be all right. Just get out of this group. Just do what you got to do. We're good enough to get out of this group. So I'm taking Puerto Rico to get out. And I'm going to roll with Canada, man. I think Canada got a good team. I think, if I'm being honest, outside of Puerto Rico, the best player, I would say, in the entire group, comparing everybody, I would go with Josh Naylor. If Josh Naylor can beat Josh Naylor, I think he's the best player there. I think they have good enough pitching that they can hold down Colombia. I think the Canada-Colombia game is actually one of the most watched games. I think that's the game that, us as Puerto Ricans, we have to watch that game more than anything.
Yeah,
to be honest.
That's going to be a good game.
So I'm excited. I think it's going to be between those two. I'm going to roll with Canada. I think they just got a little bit more oomph in the lineup with Josh. And if, like we mentioned, O'Neal kind of comes through. But I think it's definitely between Puerto Rico and Canada moving on to the next round.
That Canada-Colombia game is Saturday, March 7th at 11. So that will be, I guess, that will be the second day of the tournament. It all starts off with Cuba, Panama at 11 a.m. on March 6th. Puerto Rico plays Colombia at 6 p.m. So that's a huge game right off the bat there. I am still in agreement with Keith. We talked about it last week. I think it's Puerto Rico. I think it's Canada. Canada's really looking to take that next step. But I don't think I agree with you, Santos. I don't think Colombia is too far behind. I'm going to have them finishing third. With then Cuba and Panama in the bracket. Now, for Puerto Rico here to just get out of the tournament, I honestly think in their best interest, if they want to go far, they need to win their bracket because if they do not, they face the winner of Pool B, which is most likely the United States. And
You know
that
what?
roster.
You know what? No,
man?
but here's the thing. Mexico's really good, though.
Yeah, I know.
That's the thing. Like, I don't look at it that way. Now, I get what you're saying, but I don't know if you agree with me, Keith, but
I know. I told Anthony, I truly believe one big sleeper for the Americans, which I'm rooting for to win the whole thing, by the way, is Mexico. Mexico's team is no joke. Mexico got a nice little team, and they always play the Americans hard. They play the Americans harder than anybody else. I wouldn't be shocked.
It's going to be a very interesting Pool A. Probably the most competition is coming out of that pool, and we'll have you covered here. We'll cover some games live during the tournament while it's going on, and we will have Santos actually back on for the Pool D talk, and that will be coming up in a couple of weeks, so make sure you guys are tuning into that. But for myself, Anthony Rivera, at Ant Rivera 86, at Subway to Shea, Keith, your socials, my friend.
Yes, sir. I am located on X at Kicking It with Keith, but on YouTube, we are at Shea and Sons, dropping Met content, all baseball content, but mostly Met related. But if you want to talk all baseball, you can find me on my socials at right here, Kicking It with Keith.
Santos, let everybody know, my friend.
Yes, sir. The Baseball Aficionado on Instagram, the Baseball Aficionado TikTok, and the BB Aficionado on X, which I barely use, but it's there.
All good, man. But that wraps up here for WBC TV with the Pool A breakdown. Stay tuned next week for Pool B, the United States, Mexico. It's going to be a big deal with those two teams coming out of that pool, and who else will take on them, as Italy and Brazil as well are part of that bracket. But for Anthony, for Santos, for my guy Keith, this has been WBC TV.